All right, we are recording. Welcome everyone to the June 27th Cloud Custodian community meeting. I am going to put the link to the agenda in the chat and then get a screen share going, and then we can start walking through. Looks like some familiar faces here, so the introductions may be a moot point today. But if anyone wants to go say hi, feel free.
Hey, yeah. So I have a note. I do have a PR that I was hoping to review. Just
excellent. That out. Yeah, actually, we may be able to jump right into that then, because normal deal with intros. We still have the note about moving on from Python 3.7 this year. I talked to Kapil. I know he won't be able to make today's call because of that conference, the FinOpsX, but he did mention that we're looking at a release sometime this week. Might be today or tomorrow, but sometime this week we should get the next release out. I know we've got a couple PRs in. Anybody have questions or important things coming up before we start diving into looking at specific issues or PRs? No? All right, cool. Oh, hey, Sunny. So you jump in too. Yeah, so Ryan, that was, you mentioned you had one?
It's actually for a colleague of mine, Ven. And it's for SES. What is it?
Is this the rule set one?
8671. Yeah, it's actually failing the build, but I tried to update it. I don't have permissions to do that, but I think that would, would pass the test. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Just the yarn needs to get checked out. Okay. Okay. We'll take a look at that one then. We should be able to push an update.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so this was adding that and type and delete. Perfect. Cool. We'll take care of that one.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hello, Gabriel. Welcome. Yeah, thanks for looking at that too, Ryan. Just confirming what was going wrong with it. That's good. Everything else looks cool. Good. Any other issues or PRs folks want to call out?
Just my usual, which apparently I need to figure out how to test some utility tidbits to get the code coverage up to get it to pass the code coverage test so that we can merge it.
That was the label one. So I guess you had a working session with Kapil, and got somewhere. Cool.
Got it exactly where it needs to be, refactored how it calls labels so that now instead of having to modify core, you modify the individual resource with the you just add a function to the individual resource to refetch, so that all it's doing now is if it gets the fingerprint error, it checks to see if the function exists, calls the if the function exists, it calls the function to refetch, otherwise it fails out. And so that actually made core look a lot better, because now we don't have funky per resource logic in there, and the resource, the availability of, or the ability to make the retry is determined by the resource and not by core, not by the GKE core. So yeah, it's just down to, I guess, writing tests for things that apparently aren't covered now, even yet still more tests. Tests have been the bane of my existence on this one in particular. So I was hoping to get it in 28, but I'm going to guess that it's probably not going to hit until 29 because of the code coverage failure.
Okay, I just approved another run. It looked like it was stuck waiting for something. Was that just, did you have test updates in that last commit, or was that just pulling in?
That was just pulling in the upstream, where it's like, yeah.
Okay.
You're out of date.
were
Okay,
done.
yeah. Let me just pull that in. Yeah.
We were done here on coverage. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
Yep.
let's see. All right, take a look and see. I know. I looked at some of the stuff before. Let me look and see if we can get any of the tests.
yeah.
I mean, I tried to be pretty open. I am not super
Yeah,
familiar
yeah.
with GCP bits, but for the testing, maybe we can get.
I mean, like utils.py, it is a one-line change, but that one line is apparently enough to throw off for it to not have full coverage. Right. So, and I guess I have to write individual tests for the retry function. Isn't that great? Because I think that's mostly what if I look at it, I think that's most of the changes that it's flagging on in GKE. No, maybe it's in compute then.
Yeah, so
although it's not actually
compute.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out exactly what it's flagging on. But it's incredibly easy to now add fingerprint label functionality to something that isn't a GKE cluster or just a standard compute node. As a proof of concept, I added it for images.
Awesome. So that means,
Yeah.
so with that last round of changes, that means we don't need to touch core when we add a new resource type. It's all within the one resource manager.
It's in the individual resource now. So turn on flags, add the retry function, write tests.
Okay. Cool. So that seems good. Is anyone else on the call particularly familiar with the Google side, with the GCP?
No, apparently that's my big pain, and I'm just hoping that this doesn't make me the de facto maintainer of it, because I don't want that.
Congratulations, Kevin. You are now the Google master.
Nope. Not it.
Well, we'll try to. It may be one of those things where it just takes a village to get a GCP PR,
right?
And then we're all learning something. So thanks again for sticking with it. Okay, and this one should be fine. Cool. Others, anyone else? I know I saw Sunny, you came in too. Did you have anything, or Sunny, Pratish? I know there were a couple things coming through recently on that. I think one or more of us got pinged on. Oh, the mailer stuff. There was something.
Yeah, there was one PR that I was trying to get some review on, and Kapil is out for FinOps. So, but if you have time, if you're able to look at the SNS notify action message to longer, that would be helpful. This one.
Sure. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is basically, how for notify action, we have a default batch size of 250.
Oh, yeah.
And when you have like a lot of metadata around resources, so we had a scenario where every bucket in an account had multiple lifecycle rules, which caused the 256 KB threshold to, which like crossed that threshold with 250. So we like lowered it down to 100 on our end, and then it didn't go through either. And I think this was something that Kapil wanted to implement from the dynamic batch sizing point of view. The PR is still, the tests need to be done, but I think potentially the logic, if that makes sense, I should be able to go ahead and write some tests.
Okay. So Kapil was talking, so I think the original draft implementation, I think this came up on the last meeting we had. So it wasn't, it wasn't considering the, packed, like the encoded message. It was just looking at the raw data.
Right.
Is that what
right.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Yep.
So then you've made those changes. You're using packed here. Okay, that sounds right. And certainly take a look, but that sounds like what we were talking about doing anyway. And no, so I know there's we would still need tests for this, but you've run it. No weird surprises, just in what you did with it so far. Cool.
Yep, not that I'm aware of, but yeah, I would love to have some of you guys also look at it.
Yeah. No, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that was the main issue too, was just making sure we cover the packed stuff.
Yep.
So cool. Thanks for working on that one. I did want to point out this one too. I know Kent had a PR, and this looks pretty cool. I think we're going back and forth. I owe him a review on the latest round of changes, but just in case anyone's using any of the folks who use Mailer, just curious if anyone was using internal Mailer methods or doing any kind of particularly advanced stuff with Mailer that might break due to a refactor. This looks like all not changing anything with the way that policy interfaces with Mailer, but some of the under the cover stuff, which if anyone's looked at the Mailer code, it can be a little bit knotty to get through sometimes. This is trying to make it a little bit clearer. Seemed like mostly good changes to me, but anybody work with Mailer code much or use these internal bits? Yeah, I would not guess so. It seems like a bit of an edge case. If you're working with Mailer, I think dealing with the awkwardness of Jinja and custom templates is enough without diving into calling internal methods. Okay. Oh, got more folks coming in. Hello, and welcome. We are in the middle of doing some issue PR review. If anybody else has specific questions or issues or PRs to call out for the group, now is the time.
I actually do have one question
Oh.
on that PR that we had.
Yes.
If you still got it open. So when I looked in, it doesn't seem like this has an ARN type, the receipt rule set. And it wasn't in the, so down in the resource, where we register the resource, we had the ARN type as receipt rule set. So I don't know if that's correct or what, but.
Yeah, that what we would usually expect to see there. And actually, I'll just browse through and go because I think it's useful. Let me pull it up, find out where that code is.
Is that the ARN types?
The ARN, yeah. I'm trying to think if I don't have an editor up, where the heck it is. Do you happen to know offhand?
Yeah.
Just search. I'm even logged in.
It's in tests/data.
Oh, it's in test data. Okay.
So, yeah, there was nothing in there about it.
Oh, there was nothing in there at all?
Yeah, it seemed like there were some, like the rest of SES was covered.
Okay. I wonder if we...
Because I looked it up on AWS in the documentation. And
when you found it in there?
I did not find it in there.
Oh, you didn't find it?
I don't know if...
Okay.
Does some resources not have not have an ARN type?
Yeah, some don't. So we might have to look for that and make sure, because this gets pulled, this gets generated from the docs. So if we don't see it in the docs when we regenerate this file, we won't see it. So we either need to, we might have to just flag that as a skipped resource, as a type without an ARN, and then just say, I think it's has ARN is false, so that it won't try to generate one. The only thing is, I don't know if we need one. Usually, so wait, what is this thing? Resource type and delete. Sometimes where we end up needing an ARN is if we're using the bulk tagging API, because that needs one. So we have to either pull one from wherever it's available or build one on the fly. But if this, if there's no reference to an ARN anywhere and we don't need it, and we're not using, let's see, do we have? Yeah, we don't have any, and we're not pulling any kind of tags or anything. Then we might have to just tell it that it doesn't have an ARN. I can verify that. We can try, let's see, can you? Trying to see if we can find a tag or something.
Yeah, I don't think it supports tags.
Yeah, if it's not taggable, there's no ARNs there, then I would think we would probably take that ARN type out, set has ARN as false, and then if we need to add an exclusion in tests to make it pass, we would put something in there. I can check that.
Yeah, that's what my comment was about, because that'll get it to pass the tests. But there was still that ARN type on that resource I wasn't sure about.
Okay.
So these are, yeah, those are, it's like an allow list of.
Oh, yeah. See, when I saw your change here, I thought it was on the resource, but you're right. It was in the test. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, if we're excluding that, then we would take this thing out altogether.
Okay. That's good.
Cool. Thanks for checking into that, though. That's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, that's the whole purpose of this change. Sorry, I thought he was adding something else. Okay. Thanks for coming back to that one.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so we're back to the PRs and the issues. If there's anything, let's see. I know. Robert, on the Oracle side, I know that the initial support for the Oracle provider landed. Is there anything from your side going on with that as follow-ups that you've come across, or no?
I don't think there's any follow-ups on that initial PR at the moment. We are looking into other changes, based on some of the initial feedback that to follow up on.
Sounds good. Thanks. And that may be it. This will be a last call then for questions or other issues or PRs. All right.
I just have a question.
Yeah,
I just have a question. Is there a way to follow along, like the progress of the build of building the release, or we just see
that's a good
here
question.
on the website?
Yeah, I think we would see the updates when they come out in Slack. We used to do them. We would do releases live sometimes and record them. But I think what the last changes, I know Sunny and Kapil have both worked on some of the stuff recently to automate away a lot of the manual work that goes into it. So it's not so much recording now. I mean, we can post and certainly link to all the steps. I mean, we've got release checklists and a lot of just make file recipes that do some of that stuff, and GitHub Actions builds and stuff like that. So we can link to that. Is that worth going through here?
No, I don't think so. I was just wondering if there's a quick, like a log or something, but that's fine.
Gotcha.
I'm just curious.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're in a bit of a transition to the animated stuff. Eventually, it will be just. And actually, for this release, I'm glad you asked that, because for this release, we may be able to just follow it in follow the action progress in GitHub Actions. Sunny may be able to keep me honest on that one. I may be lying. So I'll have to check to make sure. But that would be the idea going forward, is you would just see a log like you're talking about. If there's nothing else, then that's probably it. Let me just see. In our release flow, how much of this is here? Yeah, so here's the publish. Okay. Yeah, so this one's talking about going through and building everything and then doing the release. So we should, I don't think this flow, I don't think we used this flow for the last release, but this may be the first one where we do. So in that case, we would go look for the actions. Yeah, no workflow runs here, but this would be where to find it. Once we start using this action, we would see the release flow here.
Cool.
So hopefully this week we'll see something here.
Yeah, sure.
All right, good question though. All right, anything else? Any other questions, issues, or PRs? All right, well, thanks. We'll get the notes and the recording published and try live streaming again another time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of the week.
Thank you.